Hi, Chris. Can you hear me? Hi, Chris. Can you hear me? Hello, Jackie. Hope you're well. I'm just still setting up a couple of things here and making sure it's all good. Hello, Kieran. I could use that as a gong. Meditation time. Buddhist call to prayer. Well, yes, I am here. Like I said, I'm just setting some things up and doing what I usually do, which is entertain myself, which not that way, you filthy minded people. Yes, I saw Kev's video about that. And yeah, Rachel won it, and Alan at Dragon Junction won a small prize or a second runner up or runner up, something like that. Yeah, that was nice. I actually am planning on doing a 500 subscriber bit. I'm just trying to decide how to do it because I want to do it a little differently, and also trying to figure out how to pay people since uh, half my viewers are not in the United States. It makes it a little harder to get gift certificates to their favorite shop. Welcome, LNER 1946. All right, well, we've got some people here. I should probably go ahead and I'm still waiting for my third laptop to load up. But all right, let's get started. Warning. The following content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter was not suitable for his own children when they were young, and he was a permissive parent. And yet he behaved that way anyhow. Topics discussed on this channel will not center solely on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just so happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts on this channel is strictly a coincidence. And any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. No, we have not come up with an acronym yet. Remember the rules for layouts. It's your layout. Do what you want. Number 2, don't tell someone what to do unless they ask what they should do. And number 3, do not call out, criticize, or mock another channel on your channel. If you are new to the channel, and I think only one is, this is the, whoops, we're going to have the gargled voice. We'll come back to that. I assume my voice is gargled in this one. Well, let's get the trains running. We'll come back to where everything is. All right. If you don't know this channel, and I think everybody here but one does know this channel, I run German HO scale trains. I have a train table. I do not have an official layout. I am just slowly adding things as I go along. So the trains we have running today, from your left to your right. We have the German Deutsche Bahn ICE 3. And if you are quick-eyed, clever-eyed, you will notice that last time it was on the middle lane. Now it's been moved to the outside. And my Austrian Railjet right here has been moved to line 2. I have brought in my 101 locomotive with its IC1, Intercity 1 passenger cars. Remember, in Germany, high-speed trains are run by the government, and you can tell they're high-speed because the cars are white with a red stripe. This particular locomotive is one of my newer ones. I got it basically for my birthday last December. And it is Märklin's 160th anniversary, and so they paid Deutsche Bahn to put a big advert for celebrating all of Märklin's toys through its history. Märklin started as a doll house supply company. It made furniture and stuff for doll houses, but quickly became tin toys and then model trains. Märklin invented the scale system. They invented HO scale, 1 scale, and originally it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they got rid of some of the scales. But yes, Märklin invented HO scale. And still running, but this hasn't run in a few weeks. This is my IC2. So we got an IC1 right here. This is an IC1, the older version. This is the double-decker IC2. You'll see that going around. And my Czech Railjet is also still running, although this will probably be the last time for a while I'll be parking him. And then way over here in the background, we got my little Lindt class diesel. I do run my trains without sounds, although all of these are heavily functioned in sound. They're all chipped, decodered, and have all kinds of stuff. So let's let them get going. So we'll start off with the ICE 3, Intercity Express 3. Now, I don't even run these guys at scale speed. I run them at about half to 2/3 of what they'd actually be running, just because on camera it always looks faster. I'm going to turn this guy's sound on for a minute. Love the sound of those. But I will turn the operating sounds off. I just like to hear the engine going. Let me see, anybody else come in? Hello, Lee. There you are, Lee. Hi, Lee. Yes, I know you're on at 6 your time, 1 my time. So we will not be in your way. I use the royal we. And let's get you going. And let's get you going. Keep them at slow speeds. And Czech Railjet. And last but not least, the 648. All right, so that's, whoops. We had a derailment. We have a stop. What the heck? Is that same point again? What is going on here, kids? Hang on. We're going to have a little surgery. Wonder why that happened. All right, fellas, I'm not happy about this. This is the second time I've had a derailment on that lane. First it was the metronome, now it's this guy. Not happy about that. All right, let me get some trains out of the way here. Let them keep running. I will sort out what happened later. We had a boo-boo. Are there any railroad in Germany? Really, Kieran? Yes, there's all kinds of railway and railroad in Germany. Oops. I'm going to stop this guy and find out why he derailed. May just be I didn't connect them properly when I was putting them on earlier. Always somebody in the way. But almost created a fault there. Alright, you're connected. Maybe I should just run you the other way. Hello, Rule 1. Oh yes. Let's see. In the town of Nuremberg, you have the Deutsche Bahn Museum, which Deutsche Bahn is the Federal Railway of Germany. They have a big, big museum. My wife and I went and saw that in 2017. The Dresden Hauptbahnhof, the Dresden Central Station, main station, has a old locomotive museum inside of it. So there's a lot of very old, classy locomotives in it. Märklin has a train museum down in just outside of Stuttgart, and there's at least two others, but I'm not remembering exactly where they are. So yes, there are a lot of train museums over there. All right. And just one more. All right, I'm going to wait for a couple of trains to get past, and then I'm going to shut this down for a second, because I will create a short if I don't. So I put it in lockdown. Okay. Yeah, this consist, somebody was asking about this one and the Railjet. They can go either way. The locomotive can pull or push. I'm going to see if this fourth curve up here, for some reason I've had two derailments. But I'm going to give it a shot and see one more time what happens. And see if it suddenly separates again. No, that's looking good. That's looking good. All right, let's give it a little more speed. Huh. I must not have put them together all the way earlier. All right, I need to look at the chat. Okay, if you are new, and like I said, I think only one person is, and I don't know. Hey, Andy, welcome back. Let's knight you. If you don't know the layout, let me explain it. The picture you're looking at is called the 11-lane view because there are 11 lanes across. It is not realistic in the real world, except maybe at a fiddle yard, but no. I just like to run trains, so my trap is not the P word. It's not prototypical. We don't use that word in here. If you use that word, you will be banned. All right, so let's look at the layout map. So again, this is, if you were standing behind me, this is what you would see. I am at my controls area with my Central Station 3 right here in the middle. I'm actually looking at the laptop in the corner. You know, you can see the laptop symbol right there. And I assume my voice is froggy here still, but usually it clears out. All right, so anyhow, on the right-hand side is the undeveloped area. I just have some buildings thrown down. We have the bus station, or I'm sorry, the big station and the little station, which are just some spare models I had sitting around, and I just put them in play. Okay. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is not a good day today. Why are you, which one is... Okay. It came undone, it came derailed, and then re-railed itself. Go figure. But yes, my system has a automatic shutdown. So yeah, you saw my belly there. Sorry about that, but they're running a little odd today. They were running okay this morning when I was test running them in these directions, but because I did change a lot of directions, so they're running the reverse of where they normally run. Anyhow, so on the left-hand side is the area where my primary building will be. That is, I've already built the Delmenhorst station. I'll talk about Delmenhorst in a second, and there's a bus center, and then there's a town. The town I currently have sitting is just fictional. I just have a crap load of buildings. I threw them on there just so it looked like I had a bit of a town and a layout. So all right, my Railjet is not liking that direction. So what I'm going to do is see if he likes the other way better. Huh, weird. There is that tricky point there. Anyhow, so that's kind of the map of the layout. So you can kind of see where the pictures are. But if we go through it, I will start with all right, what is going on with you, dude? He is just, is that point messed up? Sorry guys, I seem to be having problems with my Austrian Railjet today. It doesn't seem to like lane 2. All right, anyhow, so we have the station, which is where the Railjet and the IC3 are coming through right, or the IC3 are coming through right now. That's the Delmenhorst station. It is a 100% accurate recreation of it. We have the village view where you don't see anybody, but this would be coming out of the station one direction into the 11-lane view. And then the long run. All right, you are annoying me. What is going on here? Oh. Well, maybe my Railjet needs a... I wonder what is going on. But anyhow, we call this the long run because you can see the trains going the 21 of the 22 feet of the back length run. And then up the ramp, which leads into the station again. And then I have the all views. Hi, John. Yeah, I'm having a really wild day here. My trains are, well, my Austrian Railjet, which is my smoothest and favorite train, I moved it into a different lane today, and all of a sudden he is being difficult, to say the least. I got to find what is setting him off. We'll just keep him at slow. He's not doing it at slow. It's actually the control car. And Heath, I'm sorry I did not see you. I'm always bored. I'm always bored, Heath. So, yeah, normally I'm very pleased, but I'm having, my metronome was acting up, so I took him off. I moved my Railjet a lane, and now it's throwing a temper tantrum. It's used to be in the outer lane. I don't know if it's just throwing a temper tantrum because it likes being on the longest strip, but I've slowed him down, and he seems to be okay. The Maryland trains are running fine. My Roco is being a little naughty today. But anyhow, I've got some things I'd share with you. Last time I put this up, I didn't have the mic installed. So now I'll explain this. Now you can hear me. On the left is a map of Germany. Stolen from the internet, but too bad. I had a large version of this map hanging in my classroom where we would mark all the different cities I had taken my German students to over the years. Now it's just a map of where I've been in Germany, but all the yellow stars are places my wife and I have been either by ourselves or with students in Germany. Anyhow, that is Germany. The city I'm recreating is a city called Delmenhorst. Delmenhorst, if you look on the right-hand map, is in the northwest part of Germany, about 9 miles west of Bremen, or about 18 miles southeast of the city of Oldenburg. But more people would probably know Bremen than Oldenburg, or if you say it in proper German, Oldenburg. Bremen, Oldenburg, Delmenhorst. So that's where the city is. Now, this is some views of my actual station of Delmenhorst and the bus center that I took when I finally installed the bus center. If you're looking at a phone, you really can't see much, but the bus center not only has the buses and bus stops and everything, which is about 90% accurate to the bus center in Delmenhorst, it has actual working timetables. It has actual working timetables. And it shows the actual buses and trains that run through the station of Delmenhorst. A gentleman named Dale Schultz made those for me. Sorry, I have a naturally loud projecting voice, and my microphone barely touches the yellow. But anyhow, this is Delmenhorst. Yep, he derailed again. I sped you up too much. He's going to cause a bit of a short there, bouncing over. Dude, What is your major malfunction? You're annoying me. Okay, so anyhow, this is what they look like when you could see them. I just don't have a camera on them. Here's an example of the actual station at Delmenhorst and my creations below it. So this is on the upper left. This is the north entrance, and below it is, I hadn't quite finished at the time. It doesn't even have the platforms on it yet, but you can kind of see that I was trying to recreate it all the way through. Sadly, the little shop in the left, Nora's Lounge, is no longer in business. It closed in 2019. And then on the south entrance, we have this rear entrance, and you have the famous Elvin Grill, which is a little Turkish kebab shop. Heath, my layout can run DCC, but most of my trains are Miraklin Motorola protocol. But it can read DCC, Miraklin Motorola at the same time. The one disadvantage of my Miraklin Central Station is those are the only two protocols it currently reads. The ECOS by ESU, their version of the Central Station, actually they invented the Miraklin Central Station and then Miraklin fired them. Their version of the Central Station is they can read two other protocols, like the one for Scalextric's cars. Alright, I'm just not going to run that dude. He doesn't like this lane. The ICE doesn't have a problem with it. I'm tired of fighting with him. So my Railjet won't be running anymore today. Let's see. Hi, Ian. How are you? Melvin, welcome. I'm sorry. I am fighting with one of my trains today. I guess it was bound to happen. My metronome was being a pain last week, but now my Railjet does not like this middle lane. My ICE handles it fine, but it's Miraklin, and my Roco jet doesn't like it. So, yeah, the city of Delmenhorst was, and you can see its flag in the back corner of picture 5 here. If I go to the, up the ramp, yeah, you can still see it back there. That is the city of Delmenhorst flag. That's where for 15 years I was based, not militarily, but I was based in, every June I took a group of students to live there for a month. And, well, 3.5 to 4 weeks, almost a month. And so it's my home in Germany, and my goal was to model it, which I'm slowly working on, very, very slowly. Yes, Heath, going back to your question. Yeah, I can control DCC lighting. In fact, now right now, the lighting that I do have on my layout is, it's battery operated. I have it run to a little battery pack that I just turn on and off when I want the lights on. But I will be eventually, once I start building the proper city of Delmenhorst, I will move everything to DCC and put them on decoders, which I can then load into my Central Station 3 here. And, let's see, we should have a couple guys going in here. I've tried running you both ways. You won't go either way, dude. You're annoying me. And maybe I'll switch trains back later. Apparently he really only likes the outside lane. But I'm just not going to run him right now. By the way, please go ahead and paste your channels. You know, copy, paste. I'm all about advertising yourselves. Go ahead. Yeah, YouTube did a big sweeps. I don't know if they do it bi-monthly or once a month, but YouTube just did a big sweep and we've all dropped a few subs. I think I wound up losing 8 subs, and now I've gained 8 new subs, so I'm back where I was before the sweeps last week and this week. Yeah, Heath, everything on this layout is jerry-rigged. Everything is jerry-rigged because it's all temporary except for this station here. It's all temporary, but even the wiring for this station, for the lighting and the announcements, because if you don't know, there are speakers in the canopies on each platform. And they are wired separately, so I can play different station announcements on each platform. I'd have to I need to get a mic over there because the camera mic isn't the best and you would actually hear them. I don't have them on now because there's no point, but yeah, I'll have that all running DCC eventually. I just have to wire them eventually into a decoder, and then run the decoder into a what's called an M84 module on my Central Station 3, and then it'll all be controllable from my Central Station 3. Isn't everything jerry-rigged? There are levels of jerry-rigging. There is very clever and brilliant jerry-rigging, and then there is this idiot doesn't know what he's doing, but it works. I'm in that last group. I know just enough electrical to be dangerous. Actually, I pretty much rewired almost this entire house. I'm just going to put you in the station and leave it there. Alright, that way there's always a train in that picture. I'm not running my Railjet right now. There's something on the the second lane that he is bumping over on the long run, derailing, and then he re-rails himself over a point. But it's getting annoying. So sorry, kids. Well, hello, Tristan. Welcome to a less than perfect running session today. I've parked my Austrian Railjet because he's being disagreeable. So I'm only running 5 trains instead of 6 today. But, let me see, where are we at? So yeah, when I go to these pictures, because I don't have a camera that really lets you see the stations. You know, I do have the one station cam, but you can't really see the bus center. If I were to go up to the camera I call Village View, you might be able to see toward the bus station, but you can't really see it. You can see the platform canopies of the Delmar station, but you can't see the bus station. And if I go to the station view here, now you can see the bus station and the Fowler car roads. You don't need those roads to do Fowler car. You can just embed them yourself into whatever you made your pavement park roadways out of. And but since I have a 1/4 inch foam board underneath, it didn't make sense to try to run an electrical line through foam. Maybe I could have done it. I could have created tracks, but anyhow, it's working. Other than the outside motors still don't respond to the signals, and I'm still trying to sort that out. I've been talking to Fowler because I keep putting sensors in. I keep plugging everything in correctly. Well, did you turn the sensor this way? Yes. Did you try this? Yes. And then it's not working. All right. Bye, John. Thanks for stopping by. I love the nighttime shots too. I think they're the best way to show off the lighting and the electrical I did with those. You know, like I said, I just bounce around, and every now and then I'll let you see trains running. But yeah, and somebody asked me, why don't you have all the town buildings lit up? Because none of those will be there when I start building the actual city. There's no point in really wiring them up and lighting them because they're not staying there. The bus station and the train station behind it are the ones that stand out. But you know, I don't consider myself a great modeler by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very how you say in the UK, chuffed with what I did there. But let's go back to some of the trains running. So it's derailing around that curve. Oh, I bet I know what it's doing. I bet that it's bumping that platform just slightly. I really should take that platform out. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. If I go to the long run, I don't know if you'll see it when the IC2 and the Railjet get around. Yeah, you can't see them. There are platforms to the left of that camera view. As you're looking at the camera, I can't really demonstrate with my hands. But if you look at where that IC is going in, there's a whole bunch of platforms there. And one of them was built for the Railjet. It's long enough to support the Railjet on that side. But I moved the Railjet to an inside line, and I forget, the Railjet cars are true 1:87 scale. Even though HO is supposed to be 1:87 scale, it's not. About half the locomotives are 1:87, but any larger locomotive like the American Union Pacific Big Boy or a Crocodile, they're more at one. Well, Maryland does 1:93.5 scale. Certain locomotives are done to 195 or even 1:100. So anyhow, my Railjet cars, and you just saw the Railjet. We'll come to the 11-lane view. So this ICE3 coming around here right now, those cars are 1:93.5. They're not true scale. Let's go to the station view because he'll be coming through anyhow. The Railjet cars by Rocco there are true scale. They're 1:187, and I think the control car at the end is catching the corner as it's passing the one platform. And that's why it's getting, just barely catching it because it keeps derailing right on that corner. And then it re-rails itself going over a point. So it's barely off, but I think that's got to be what's happening. That's my diagnosis. Yeah, there is the N scale Fowler car. I know there's sites out there that have done it. It's basically the same wire. It's just the cars are smaller. The motors are the same. Everything's the same except the car. But yeah, I have not looked for a Fowler car N scale video. But like you said, there's got to be one out there. But going back to another comment here, because I am not reading the comments, everybody. I apologize. If you're asking questions, just retype them in. I'm trying to sort problems live on air, and that's not a good thing because I get grumpy and very focused on what I'm trying to solve and not what I should be paying attention to. Let's go back to the all view. With where was I going with this? Now I lost my train of thought. Somebody mentioned, oh, the modeling. Yeah, the thing is, in my teens, I used to build dioramas. I used to build the equivalent of HO scale dioramas. Those old, anybody remember those old plastic Airfix soldiers? You could get them in HO 00 scale. Those plastic Airfix guys. I used to buy those by the truckload, and I would paint them all up and make dioramas, little 1 foot by 2 foot long dioramas, sometimes 2 foot by 2 foot. We would actually try to play war games with them and do World War I, Napoleon, whatever, and fight little battles. And then I'd tear it apart and build a new one, depending on what war I was interested in at the time. I was a huge military historian. Yes, Rule 1, your archive stuff is really cool. And so then I got into, round about the time I started dating my wife, I got a little bit more into tabletop wargaming. I was always into wargaming, but three-dimensional tabletop wargaming. But again, it started off with World War II stuff, but I really loved medieval warfare. I love medieval warfare. It's still the one history area I still really keep up on because I'm sort of arrogant. I'm like, I learned everything about World War I learned everything about World War II, the Civil War. I know all that stuff. So, medieval warfare, the 100 Years' War, the various wars of the Holy Roman Empire, and I really got into that and went into 25 to 28 millimeter stuff, and from there I got into fantasy wargaming, Lord of the Rings stuff. So I was big into modeling and building dioramas, and when my kids were little, my oldest daughter will be 32 soon. My two younger kids just celebrated their 28th and 25th birthdays last weekend. And when they were younger, I had them doing wargaming, and they loved it. And they all went into Dungeons and Dragons, which I didn't follow them into. They followed me into wargaming, but then they moved into Dungeons and Dragons. And so the hobby kind of stopped because my kids no longer played. And I got into other things. Life, job, work, and other things kind of took over. And then when I got into trains a couple of years ago, first thing I did was bought a bunch of buildings just to throw on my table. And built a bunch of them up. But in the last 3 years, as I keep talking about, and you're probably sick of hearing, the degenerative arthritis in my hands, I get tremors, I get the shakes, and it comes more and more often, and it makes it really hard for me to model anymore. I'm glad I got the two most important buildings scratch built. The Delmenhorst Station and the bus station before it got so bad. If I were to try to build the Delmenhorst Station now, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. The small, tiny pieces, hundreds and hundreds of little pieces, because not only is it done completely on the inside, it's 100% accurate, or on the outside, it's 100% accurate on the inside. And it sucks. And I talk a lot about it because it's frustrating, because I want to be doing more and I have to wait. I have to wait till, like, okay, I'm having a good day, maybe I can work on something. But if I wanted to do N-scale now, I couldn't. I would go to pick up an N-scale train and I would drop it. I would just have a hand tremor, my fingers would let go, and plunk, down it goes. And they're so fragile. N-scale is fragile. I mean, obviously, HO scale is too. So now I'm going to buy a 3D printer, hopefully within the next month, and start learning how to do CAD and design the buildings I want put up, because I can't scratch build them anymore. Speaking of scratch building, Paul at Galgorm Hall had a new video up today, and I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I'm losing more and more. Down to only 12 people. Anyhow, just for fun, let's go to this. I'm wearing my Miniature Wonderland shirt that I bought Miniature Wonderland a few years ago. I'm losing weight, so all my shirts don't fit as well as they used to, which is a good thing. Let's go that way. They're getting baggy on me now. But I've been to Miniature Wonderland, Miniatur Wunderland. Miniature Wonderland in English, obviously, but in German, Miniatur Wunderland is its official name. Or, if you're cool and hip, you call it Miwula, M-I-W-U-L-A, Miwula. And I'm cool and hip that way. I have been there 5 times. I was there in 2004, about 3 years after it opened. And then again 2005. And then 2012. And then 2017 and 2019. Yeah. Miniature Wonderland is, if you're into trains, it's a mecca. It's a must-go at least once in your life. I do have a video on my webpage, on my YouTube channel. It's an hour-long video of my wife and I, just some edited highlights of going through there. It's not high quality. It's not a professional tour. But I think it does a good job of showing you the highlights. Yes, the Hamburg train station is pretty cool. I've been in the Hamburg train station, 15, 16 times, somewhere around there. It's, on the outside, it's a beautiful building. On the inside, it's very grungy. It's got a lot of tracks, and it's got trains from all over Europe in it. Russian trains, Polish trains, Hungarian trains, the high-speed cross-Europe trains, the local traffic. It's really cool. If you like to just see a lot of different liveries of trains, the Hamburg station is one of the best to do that. Hey, Simon, how are you, sir? Hope you're feeling good today. And the thing about Miniature Wonderland is, if you're not into model trains, it's still really cool to see it. And you might get into model trains having been there. Because the scenery, not to mention all the jokes. There are hundreds of joke scenes in there. Some are naughty. Some are just funny. All the little action buttons you can press and cause different things to happen. There's just so much in there. 1 8-hour day is not enough. The longest I have spent at Miniature Wonderland is probably 8 hours. The shortest is probably, well, it was with my students, so it was probably 3 hours. And every time I go, it's like, oh, we forgot to go see this part. And they keep expanding it. They're now adding a French, the Provence and Monte Carlo. They're adding a French section. And they're having, and it's been controversial, they're having a South American company make a South American display that will then be shipped from, is it Chile? I think the company's in Chile. And they'll have that shipped because if you've been to Miniature Wonderland, it's in an old 17th century brick warehouse. And they now own, they started as 1 floor of that warehouse. Now they own 4 floors of that warehouse. And they just bought a building across a canal. And they're going to expand into that building. And that's where the South American section is going to go. Yes, OBS is open broadcast software. You know, hello, Jim. I did not see you come in. Always good to see you, sir. I now declare united. Yeah, my Austrian Railjet is acting up, Jim. I know why it is now. I've kind of sourced it. I just need to put it back on the outer lane. Because my Roco Railjet is true scale 187. I've got a platform that's designed for it, and I moved it on the inside instead of the outside. And so the Steuerwagen, the control cab, keeps clipping it and just slightly derailing. Just slightly derailing. Or I could just go cut an inch off of that and not have the problem. Inch off that platform. But all those platforms over there are coming out as well. No, my son-in-law turned me on to OBS last year, and we slowly began adding different cameras, like you can see in this view here. Let's follow the ICE around on a trip. So he's going through. Whoops, I just missed up the ramp. And now, long run. That was kind of a cool shot there. And now he'll be coming into the 11 lane any second. There he is. Now he'll be back at the Village View in a second. Go. And now he'll be pulling through the station. He's going the opposite way I run the camera, so I'm doing everything in reverse. Up the ramp. Long run again. All right, enough of chasing him around. Hey Heath, if I call it slightly derail, you just accept that. To me, derail is when the whole thing comes off. I have literally one wheel on a bogie just popping over. Unfortunately, it's on the last bogie, and it's a pickup bogie. And then it goes over a point and pops back. The point puts it back on rail, but it causes a quick short in the system. It's not enough to trigger the shutdown, but it caused just enough of a short that you would see the quick, like, half a second stop of everything, and then it continues on. But I called it slight derailment, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, see, rule one, here's the thing. When I was there in 2017, and I actually met one of the two brothers. I met Garrett Brown. The two primary owners, they have, like, their dad is technically part owner, and they've got a banker friend who is part owner, but that was just to raise enough money to start the business. The two brothers, it was their idea, and they run it. It's Friedrich and Garrett Brown, and I got to spend 15 minutes with Garrett Brown in 2017. And here's the cool thing. They were going to build France in the last room that they're actually now putting France in, and there's these two big doors that open onto a footbridge that goes across to the next building. And at the time, their discussion was that they were going to build France in that room, and then they were going to build the tunnel along the footbridge. They were going to put a weather capping, canopy, so forth, a four-season, basically make the footbridge an interior bridge. And they were going to run the tunnel with it, and then they were going to do UK and North Africa were the first two things they're going to do in the new building. And now they've changed their minds. But I thought that would have been cool. They were going to do France, the tunnel, and then the UK and North Africa. But now they've changed. They're doing France, South America. They don't know when they're going to do the UK. I think part of the reason they're not doing UK is because UK models would look a little bit out of whack with the HO models, since nobody makes HO scale UK models that I know of. Maybe somebody can correct me. Nobody makes UK models. They're all 00. Well, hi, Jack's Model Railway. Welcome. Bye, Melvin. Good luck at the doctors. Yeah, let's see, go back to, so yeah, it would have been really cool. My daughter was in Montreux as part of a college trip. My daughter was a really good flautist. Now, if you don't know what a flautist is, it's one who plays the flute. And she was in her college, actually marching band, but also joined an ensemble. And the ensemble toured Europe in 2006. And she also has a very good singing voice, so she was asked to join the choir. And so they toured Europe. So they were at Montreux and performed. They performed in London, then went to Paris, and then Marseille and Monaco, Monte Carlo. Then they went to Montreux in Switzerland. Then up to Stuttgart, Rothenburg an der Tauber, and Frankfurt, down to Vienna, and then over to Liechtenstein. They played for their ensemble played for the Duke. Is it the Principality of Liechtenstein? So it's the Prince. They played for the Prince of Liechtenstein. He was in the audience. They didn't just play for him. He was just there. And then they went down to Venice, Italy, and then they came home. I'm jealous because I haven't been to any of those places except... Well, I haven't been to any of those places. Well, Frankfurt I've been to. Thank you, Jack. Let's go to the 11-lane view. You can see him. One of my trains is being a bad boy today, so he's parked. I have, I just call them all trains. I know technically some are rail cars and some, I just call them trains. I have, I think, a combination of 12 or 13 trains and locomotives. I have given a couple of trains and locomotives away recently, traded them away, given them away, and but they're all German. If you don't know that, I have one freight train. I'm a passenger train guy. I'm a passenger train. I like passenger trains. Let's have the ICE-3 come barreling down on you here. You get a little flicker of light there because I have an LED light, bank light here that has been fritzing for about a year. And my wife is getting frustrated I haven't replaced it yet. But the company that made those bank of lights, the supplier doesn't have them anymore. Andy, your English typing is fantastic. So, and again, I go to Germany all the time, except for this year, of course. I missed it. But since 2003, I've went to Germany every year except 2016 and 2020. 2016, my wife had knee replacement surgery. My wife was a big athlete in high school. She was a big shot athlete, and but she also blew her knee out several times, and she injured her knee pushing a car out of the snow one day, and needed another surgery, but that was kind of like the last straw. And finally, when she injured her knee playing tennis, she missed she missed part of a year doing any activity sporting wise, and she's always been into sports. But yeah, she had knee replacement surgery in 2016, and so she waited till the school year was over and had the summer holidays, and so I didn't go to Germany that year. We didn't go to Germany. But yeah, Andy, I think I speak pretty good German. I usually say fluent, but there are areas where, like, if a couple of doctors start talking or a couple of engineers start talking, then I'm like, wait, what did they say? And of course, you have the regional dialects that can drive one crazy at times. It's like, I know a lot of people who claim to speak German and then they go to Bavaria and don't understand the Bavarians. I do have trouble understanding some Bavarian German. I do have some of the real up in the mountains local German. I can be a little bit lost. Donkische instead of Dankeschön. Donkische. What'd you do to your donkey? Nah, don't go there, Heath. Don't go there. Every country has its amazingly beautiful parts and has its amazing, less amazing parts. Now, granted, when I have been in some pretty rough sides of Hamburg and some pretty rough sides of Berlin, and they don't look like the rough sides of LA or New York, but there's reasons for that. The thing I love about my travels in Germany and Austria are just the sense of how long people have been here. The cities that are 800, 1,000 years old. I haven't been to Italy or Greece to see cities, or, say go to Babylon, that's 6,000 years old, or Egypt, where some of the villages there are 6,000, 7,000 years old. But there's just something about that European history in every town you go to. Oh, that's good to hear, Jack, because most people I watch are more about the freight trains, especially the American side. Although on the American side, you get some people that like Amtrak and will have or the Union Pacific passenger trains, but they're more into freight. Even in the people I know that do German trains in the United States, it's just as much freight as it is passenger. I'm one of the weirdos. I'm the outsider. I'm all about passenger. I'm not into freight trains. I can admire a locomotive. I can think it looks cool. But when I see a bunch of freight cars going by, I'm like, yeah, okay. But passenger trains and the liveries on them, that's what gets me. But I got into trains because of riding trains in Germany for so many years. I finally just wanted to recreate that experience at home. I loved riding the trains. It's just not the same in America. Oh, I'm up to 16. 50? Wait, what's 50? Somebody asked how old somebody is? Aber Andi, Sie sind Schweizer und Schweizers Deutsch ist nicht genauso wie Deutsch oder Hochdeutsch. Und ich kann auch nicht immer Schweizerdeutsch oder Schweizerdeutsch verstehen. Wir müssen immer ein bisschen langsamer und Hochdeutsch benutzen. Yeah, we had the big storm the other night, Heath. I don't know if you're online, but I had just got done talking about there was no forecasted rain. There was no forecasted rain the other night for us. 97, hot, humid, 2% chance of rain. And I'm down here talking to everybody on my live stream about how bad the rain is, or how bad it is, how hot it is, miserable it is. And literally in 10 minutes, our skies clouded over, and we had like a 15-minute super severe thunderstorm. It blew an iron and glass table on my desk, or on my deck, on my patio in the backyard, my deck, and blew it up and over the railings on my deck. It slammed the umbrella, because we had the umbrella up. We didn't know it was going to rain. Nobody knew. And so it destroyed the umbrella, basically crunched it in half. And now today we're supposed to have rain coming in this afternoon and all day tomorrow. So we're going to get cooler. Like today's high is only 87 as opposed to 97 as it was the last few days. Jack, all my trains are relatively glossy. Some of them are plastic. High quality stuff, but yeah, I don't weather my trains. I want them pristine. Now my Railjet coming around here, the blue Railjet, he's not quite as glossy, but he's also a cheaper plastic. But yes, my two really gorgeous, my ICE coming through. This guy I don't think is too glossy. It might have something to do with the lights, because there are very bright LED lights. But no, they are very shiny. Because in Germany, they're shiny. The Germans clean their trains, at least their high-speed ones. They might get a little dust on them on long trips, but yeah, I'm not into weathering trains. I think it's awesome when people do, but let's see. This Railjet coming around here, Railjet, ICE3, this guy cost me a total of about $800. I'm not putting dirt on an $800 train. It's too expensive. Sorry. Hey, Heath, hail in Toledo is not abnormal. We do get occasional really pretty good thunderstorms here in July. August is our worst chance of tornadoes and super severe weather, but it does happen. The heat wave we've had, which began at the end of June and has carried all the way through, something like we had 10 straight days, 11 straight days over 90, 18, 19 straight days over 86. That's a record for us at this time of year. We've never had anything like this. Just no rain until the other day for 2 weeks. Okay. So yeah, I do have people that say, why don't you put some graffiti on those trains, or why don't you do, and I'm like, no. I like clean trains. Model trains are a fantasy world, and in my fantasy, the trains are clean. Even my freight train is clean. But I usually start a war at times because, hell, everybody's coming through here again. Really like to be running my Railjet here, but I think I'll put them back on the outer lane. It really would not be too difficult to do it. I could just have them change positions. Hi, John Dawson. Thanks for stopping in. Hi, Simo. Hello, hello, everybody. There are so many, I mean, I think it's the advantage that there's disadvantages too, but in the UK, there's so many train companies, although not as many as in the past. There's so many gorgeous liveries. There really are. In Germany, I love the liveries I see, but there's not quite as many. But I love the simplicity of Germany. I love these white high-speed trains, the ICEs and the ICs. And yes, kids, if this is your first time on my channel, even if you're in the UK, you don't call them ICE trains. They are ICEs, or if you're German, ICE. They are ICEs or ICEs if you speak English. I say, do you know the Queen's English? Well, of course she is. She rules England. Actually, true fact, the Queen's German. And her husband's Greek and German. The Queen's more German than I am. Hey, AS, how are you? It's good to see you, bud. Welcome, welcome. There, you're all knighted now. But yeah, I'm just killing time here. A little bit later this afternoon, my wife and I have to go do some running to replace the damaged deck umbrella from the storm. And it did come up your way, John. Yeah, we got blitzed there the other day. My wife came down here and showed the picture to everybody who's in the stream the other night. We are getting rain beginning later this afternoon. We're 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. but it's so, you walk outside the door and it's like walking into soup. Pea green soup. It's just, it's nasty. So I saw, after Chris did his live feed this morning, then Rachel at Mini Wististon Junction had a live train rail fanning. When did it become rail fanning? People, I'm ignorant. We used to call it train spotting. Now it's called rail fanning. When did rail fanning become the word? Did the movie Train Spotting ruin it for everybody, and now it's rail fanning? Train spotting seems more correct. You're spotting trains. You're looking at trains. Rail fanning sounds like you're a 13-year-old girl about to meet the Beatles. Oh my God, look, it's class 37! Oh! I can't scream that high-pitched way. No, I don't know what a foamer is. Train spotting's too geeky. I think rail fanning sounds too geeky. It's just me. My master's in English coming through. My master's degree in English. I think I lost Andy when I spoke German. I think he said, right, that's enough of that crap. I'm out of here. I'm going to keep doing it now. Somebody laugh. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Look, it's a class 56. I can't believe it. Quick, Ethel, get a picture. And then class 66 walks out and they're all like, oh, it's just class 66. Hey, could you go in there and see if class 43 is in and tell him to put on his inner city livery? It was so awesome when he used to wear that. Oh, does he have on the swan livery? Please tell me he's on the swan livery. I'll stop now before I start another war between England and the United States. No, Kieran, I don't think I have. What other impersonations or impressions do I do? I don't do too many celebrities very well. Again, it takes me some time to warm up, but I can usually do a pretty good Sean Connery when I've worked myself into it. All right, I'm going to let you in on a stupid story here. My friends and I in high school, we could all do the famous Warner Brother cartoon characters. Yosemite Sam, Bugs Bunny, all those guys. And so when we were all of an age of 18 and allowed to go in, we would go into the porn theaters at night. We would go watch triple X rated movies. These, I don't know if England ever did the triple X stuff, but porn movies. Debbie Does Dallas and all that. If you're under the age of 18, you need to leave right now. And we would start watching the movie, and once we understood enough of the lame plot, we would start doing the entire porn movie we were watching in cartoon character voices. So if you could imagine Elmer Fudd as a dominatrix, shh, be very, very quiet. I'm going to bruise your whittle bottom, you know. Nah, I'm safe in my bunker right now, Aberswith. I'm safe here, so nuke, attack. I'm fine. I'm in my bunker. Don't sneeze now, you idiot dragon. But usually I have to warm up, do a few key phrases. Like with Sean Connery, you can't just go into Sean Connery. You first got to start with, getting the SH for the S's. Sean, it's Sean. Then you got to start working in that hidden Irish brogue he has behind his attempts at speaking English. Now tell me where's Blowfield, darling. Yes, Lee goes on in 50 minutes. Lee goes on and then he goes off. The sad thing, John Dawson, is the heat nor drugs have done this to me. I've never taken a drug in my life. I haven't smoked pot ever. I haven't even smoked a regular cigarette or a cigar or a pipe. There's a lot to explain the insane behavior. None of it is unnatural. You grow up in the neighborhood I grew up in and inside the family I grew up in, and, well, you tend to be twisted. Ooh, Heath is getting deep philosophical. Is there anything that goes on that doesn't go off? The universe, life, our individual lives may go off, but life will go on. Because even if our sun in 5 billion years finally, it won't explode in the supernova sense, but it will expand and fry the atmosphere off the Earth and either completely incinerate Earth, absorbing it into its... They don't quite know how far our sun will expand when it goes. But the Earth will be gone. But there's other life out there in the universe, and it will go on. The universe will one day recollapse, but then it'll probably go through it again. String theory. It will expand so far, then contract, recoalesce. What is it? Sometime in the next 50 billion years, our galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy, the Milky Way and Andromeda, are going to collide into each other and form one giant galaxy. I don't know. Are Canadians twisted? Maybe when it comes to hockey. Because, there's the stereotype of the Canadian accent, right? Any idiot that thinks they want to do a Canadian accent says, hey, all I got to do is put A at the end. Your name's Bob, eh? See, I did Canadian. No. First of all, that's not just Canadian. People in Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the northern peninsula of Michigan, Maine, and New Hampshire talk that way as well. The thing to do Canadian is you've got to get the vowels correct. Like O is always a long O. It's not hockey, it's hockey. Hockey. Oh, did you see that Iserman play? That was a great hockey game last night, eh? You use A as a way of saying right. Didn't I tell you? Oh, these Tim Horton donuts are the best, eh? Well, hello, Ali. Welcome to Canadian Rail Fanning. Oh, look at that loco. That's a great looking girl, isn't she, eh? Of course, John, you're up in Niagara Falls, and I never meet Canadians up in Niagara Falls. My favorite thing about Niagara Falls is meeting the French Canadians up there. The Québécois, as they like to call themselves. The Québécois. Because first they won't talk to you, but then if you insist on speaking to them, bonjour. Je m'appelle Anthony Dodge. Comment ça va? And they're like, oh, you're going to talk to me. It is okay. I speak English. My name is Michelle. Oh, and is this your wife? This is my girlfriend of the last 15 years. She doesn't speak English. Every French Canadian man I meet with a French Canadian woman, it's always, she doesn't speak English. And that hasn't happened just once. It hasn't happened just twice. It's happened about 10, 11 times when I've been up at, no, I'm sorry, my lady, she does not speak English. Well, it's people from all over the world, John. I run into Germans, Scots, Australians. All right, I got one more. I'll put this on main screen again. Let you see all the different areas. I haven't been showing some of the areas. I got one other silly tourist story about Germany and elsewhere that goes. We go, when I took my students to Germany for all those years, we would go to this city called Potsdam, which is at 30 kilometers southwest of Berlin. And Potsdam is famous because all the Prussian and German emperor royal families had all kind of palaces there, the Hohenzollerns. They had all kinds of palaces. Berlin was built to show off their power and strength. Potsdam was built up to show off their wealth. Well, there's this big park called Sanssouci. One of the palaces is called Sanssouci, and there's like 13 other palaces or large buildings on the grounds. And one of them is called the Sun House, also known as the Chinese Tea House. And Frederick the Great had it built in the 1760s because all of a sudden China was all the rage. You know, tea and spices and everything were coming in from China, and sailors had traveled there enough. And so Frederick the Great he had heard about pagodas. And so he had a couple of sailors draw what they thought looked like a pagoda. And then he had these carven statues which are gilded in gold. And they hired European models, these late 1700s artists, hired European models to wear these stereotypes of Chinese clothing at the time. And so you have these very European models, and then all they did was give them slanted eyes, sort of like the actors in the 1930s that would play Chinese. They'd be European guys and play China. And so we would always go there, and I would try to explain this story to my students that, you know, these characters are not really Chinese. They're stereotypes, that the statues and everything are really kind of, you know, and today they'd be considered politically incorrect. But it's what the artists had at the time. And the funny thing is, you can walk all through Sanssouci and you don't see any Chinese tourists anywhere. But as soon as you go to tea house and I start telling my stories about, yeah, this is kind of racist here, the way they drew these Chinese people, all of a sudden there's like 30 Chinese tourist groups standing around you, and you're just like, okay, you did catch me saying it was racist, and it's not right? Because it's like they come out of nowhere. You just stand there. Are there any Chinese groups around? No. Okay, so let me explain this story so I'm not misunderstood. And then all of a sudden you turn around and there's 10, 11, 12, 30 different Chinese tourist groups standing at the pagoda. And then you're like, Boy, I hope they understood what I was saying correctly. Okay, John Dawson is leaving. Anyhow, goodbye. Thanks for stopping by. My friend Michael just texted me. He watches the video, but he doesn't type in chat. If you hear me on the YouTube channel, Michael, it is parked because I changed lanes on it and forgot that the Steuerwagen, the cab control car, is a little longer, and it's clipping the side of a platform on my non-developed end, and it kept bumping one of the last wheel axle, just one wheel, it kept bumping it off. Actually two, because the inside one would also be off, but it was bumping it off. So I just parked it on this side, and I'll put it back on the outside loop. I forgot to shorten that one platform, because the outer platform is built for the Railjet, because my goal was I'd just leave the Railjet on the outer line, but I moved trains around. So he's parked at the Dumb and Horse station because I either have to shorten the one platform, which none of you can see because it's not the platform he's at, it's the other side of the table. If I go to the layout map, it's on the far right hand side. You can see there's a really long platform there. There's a very long platform there, and he normally parks on the outside of it and rolls past it. And it's designed that his cars, of course, curve outwards going around. Well, I've got him coming inwards, so the cars, none of the rail cars are putting, but the control cab has a shorter, it has a lower profile. So the something on the bottom of it, just as it's going around, is clipping it off. And so I got tired of it. I could have just changed lanes with the ICE with it, but I just parked and let my other trains run. So I hope you heard that. So it was nothing serious. Again, if you don't know, I will go to this again. I like to review these things. Here's a map of Germany. So Andy, Switzerland is in the bottom left-hand corner, in case you didn't know that. Nur eine Witze. Das war nur eine Witze. And my one side is being modeled on the city of Delmenhorst. Delmenhorst is a small town of about, well, small, 72,000 people, west of Bremen, southeast of Oldenburg. And I actually have a slideshow on my OBS showing that's the old Evangelische Stadtkirche, the Protestant church in the city, the main old city church. That's these are scans of old photographs which were kind of spliced together. This is from 16 years ago when I didn't have great photo editing software, so I took actual photographs. We did, you know, kids, there was a time before digital photography where we actually had hard copied photos. But this is, I know you're tuned in for trains, but this is Delmenhorst. Sadly, Ruckmüller, they made great ice cream. They don't exist anymore. They closed. They were a Konditorei, a cookie and pastry and ice cream shop. But, yeah, Delmenhorst is a great little city, and it's my home. This is the main shopping area called Langestrasse. I know you're going, where's the trains? Where's the trains? Where's the trains? Hey. And this is, again, the main shopping district. It's called Langestrasse. It's a pedestrian zone. No cars allowed. Still Langestrasse. And then they sell a heroin-type pizza at this little place on the left called Dietsch's. But right here at this building, I actually have that building recreated on my layout over here, but I can't really show it to you. And if you turn right at that building, if you turn right, that's the street that takes you down to the train station. So I will be actually recreating this, and where these pictures are taken is sort of the north end of the city, the market square, the city market square. This is all on the left and right of the city market square. So the town hall and the market square are right behind here, but those pictures aren't coming up. But yeah, so I obviously won't be creating most of these, and some of these style of buildings they don't make. Jack at Benton Road, I was hoping I might have one of the buildings come up. Just some of the local legends and myths turned into statue and stuff like that. Sadly, my town of Delmenhorst was voted ugliest town. That's a little mini concert hall for sort of like when there's an open air show. They also do a Lego show in that building. This is the Arthur Fittger building, who was a famous artist and architect from the city of Delmenhorst, and they have a McDonald's in it to celebrate him. How nice. But the Arthur Fittger building. Okay, good. You got to get a YouTube ID and just type in the YouTube. And so this is up on the platforms of Delmenhorst. And as you can see, it's a very dark black, and that's the main entrance, the south entrance to the station with the platforms up above. So if you looked at that, and I could go, whoops, not there, but I could go here and kind of show you, this is the south entrance and the east entrance of the actual train station. And this was all scratch built, and even the inside of the station, even though nobody can see in it, it's 100% accurate based on the stores of 2017 and 2018. The little shop on the upper left was Mona's. I think I said Nora earlier. It was Mona's Moda, Mona's fashion store. She went out of business in July of 2019, right after we left. We had nothing to do with that, kids. But that's me trying to recreate it before the hands are just too crippled to do anything anymore. So, Delmenhorst is my German hometown. I was not born there. I was not raised there. I didn't visit Delmenhorst until the age of 39, but I've adopted it. I spent 15 Junes in Delmenhorst. Check that. Yeah, 15. Don't check that. 15 Junes in Delmenhorst. It's my home away from home. Sadly, all my friends in Delmenhorst, except one, well, I probably shouldn't say it that way, have passed away. I have younger friends and teachers I had worked with, but my closest friends in Delmenhorst have all passed away over the last 5 years. The people that I started this exchange program with and did that. The original teacher, the mayor of the city, his wife. Actually, I'm sorry, let's go backwards. She was the mayor. He was the head of Sister Cities International for that area. She was the mayor. He was the head. The teacher, the principal of the building, the Schulleiterin, they've all passed away. Now, younger teachers that came in and took over are still there, but of the original crew that started the exchange program, I'm all that's left. So, yeah, I really think, going back to this, the nighttime pictures here, I do love these. I just don't have a camera to show everything close. You'd have to go watch the videos. In fact, at the top of my YouTube channel, there's a video where I lit these up like this for the first time, so you can go check it out. I know it's 30 minutes long, but you can skip ahead and find it. And you get much more close-up of these buildings than these photographs are. Yeah, they. I'm very pleased. I started. I did the bus station in 2018, the train station in 2018, late 2017 into 2018. It took me about 8 months to build it. Then I did the canopies in late 2018. and then or 2019, mid 2019, and then in late 2019, I started the bus terminal for the last time. I had started it many times, but and got it into the form you see now. And then I got it all lit up, and a gentleman named Dale Schultz took some Arduino microprocessors and displays and showed me how I could program them to have the actual bus times at the bus station. So I have the buses and their time of arrival and departure straight from Delmenhorst. So nobody up there, nobody up here. Yeah, one guy going through the station now. I guess this should be called down the ramp today instead of up the ramp. Now, in reality, about 2 miles outside of Delmenhorst, the 3 lanes that come into Delmenhorst contract down to 2, and basically a going to Delmenhorst or going to Bremen and coming down. This would be the line literally heading to Bremen, except you have 3 that pull in, and they condense down to 2. And then going the other way, it goes to Oldenburg, and about a mile or so outside of Delmenhorst, those 3 lanes condense down to 2. But Delmenhorst is on the way from Oldenburg to Bremen. Oldenburg and Bremen are main trail hubs. And from Delmenhorst, you're either going west and then south. Well, west or south, because you branch off and go to Osnabrück. Or if you head east, you're going to Bremen, and only to Bremen. And then from Bremen, you'll either keep going, like I can go from Delmenhorst all the way to Hanover. I can go from Delmenhorst to Hanover, and then in Hanover, you're going to, Hanover is the main northern hub in Germany. It's actually, the train station in Hanover is bigger than Hamburg. And it has more platforms and tracks than Berlin, although Berlin station is bigger, because Berlin's main train station is huge. But Hanover is right in the middle of east-west in Germany. So all the trains in the north that are going from the west to the east or the east to the west all go through Hanover. And Hanover is the major hub for going north-south. So if I'm in Bremen or Hamburg or Berlin, all across the northern part of Germany, and I want to go to Munich, I'm going to Hanover. We will hit Hanover, and then you catch the main trains going south. Or then from Hanover, you can go southwest, west-southwest, and you head over to the Rhine, the Ruhr Valley and the Rhine Valley area. But everything goes through Hanover in the north. So, I guess if I put this up again, I don't think you can, well, I can't enlarge it right now. Actually, I wonder if I could. If I did this, boom, and come on, work with me, thank you. There we go. I can enlarge it. And let's bring it forward. There you go. So I can enlarge this. Hey, you're getting a geography lesson today, kids. So if you look where Bremen is and Oldenburg, and follow the little yellow line pointing where Delmenhorst is, Hanover is right in the middle of the map there. And Hanover, if you are going from the north to the south or the south to the north, you go through Hanover. So that is a huge train hub. There are hills and mountains to the west, the Harz Mountains southwest and southeast of Hanover. And Hanover is right on sort of a strip of flatter land between those two areas. All right, now I have to shrink this back down.
But there, kids, that's your geography lesson for today. There will be a quiz on this Monday. Refresh here. The last thing I saw was Kieran mentioning my name, and it's still Kieran mentioning my name. I don't think I caught 20 today. The love for me has died. Great, Lee, that helps. Hi, Chris, again. Hello, Lulu. Yes, Lee, thank you for that great endorsement. I fell asleep. Yes, got me. But yes, this Czech Railjet coming through is the one train that breaks the rule of the house. Well, actually, it's one of two trains that break the rule of the house. But for me, the Railjet, the rule for me to have a model train is I had to have ridden on that train or a version of that train. I have never been on a Czech Railjet. I've been on a Czech Eurocity, but not a Czech Railjet. I bought that Railjet because it was pretty. That's a cool looking train. I want one. My wife looked at me 3 years ago and said, no, but it's cool looking. You haven't ridden on it, but maybe I will someday. No. And then it was on my table. Yes, Heath. We have some major freight lines that come through Toledo. Toledo is a transportation hub, so things coming from the east, from New York or Cleveland, will go and heading to Detroit or Chicago. They will come through Toledo, so we have a lot of freight. Now they've probably eliminated half the freight lines, half the tracks. We have that Rails to Trails program because the rail industry has shut down so much. We also have an Amtrak station. And some days of the week we have 2 Amtrak trains that stop by, and some days of the week 4 Amtrak trains. If it's 2, it's 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. If it's 4, it's 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. One will be heading east towards Cleveland and Pittsburgh and on to Philadelphia and on to New York, or the other one's going west to Chicago. And the problem with them is they are completely unpredictable. There is a schedule. The one is supposed to be here at 4 in the morning. It might arrive at 7 in the morning. It might arrive at 1 in the afternoon. It can be 3 hours late. It can be 9 hours late. You just don't know. But Toledo doesn't have trams or anything else. We have buses. That's it. Long time ago, Toledo was a major part of the Erie Canal. But if you're from the UK, let me try simplistically. I know maybe there's a couple of Americans who are going to correct me on something here. But in America, America is about 10 times the size of Germany. But there is almost twice as many miles of rail in Germany than there are in the United States. So there's that right there. But in the United States, there are 7 private companies which own different sections of all the rail system in the United States. You know, there's CSX and Chessie, blah, blah, blah. It's all private companies that own the American rail. Amtrak supposedly owns some rail lines. But there's 7 private companies, Union Pacific, for example, and they own all the rail in the United States. And they rent out their sections to the other companies. And so for Amtrak to go from New York to Chicago, it has to pay 3 different companies. And because Amtrak is government owned, these companies jack up the price to, you know, rip off the American government. But the second side of that is the freight companies give priority, because these train companies are freight companies. They give priority to their freight traffic first, the other freight traffic second, and passenger traffic is lowest on the priority level. So if an Amtrak train is going and a freight train is going and they both need the same line, the Amtrak has to pull and wait. And if there's 5 other trains that are going to go through there that are all freight, the Amtrak has to wait for all 5. In Germany, the federal government owns all the rail and priority is given to passenger traffic. High-speed regional freight is at the bottom. So that's how the American rail system works, and quickly how the German rail system works. Yes, that could be. Like I said, I do know Amtrak supposedly owns some areas, but like from Philadelphia, roughly Philadelphia, maybe Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to Chicago, it's all owned by other companies. And so the Amtrak trains in Toledo are never on time. If I were into train spotting or rail fanning and wanted to go down to the Amtrak station and take pictures, first of all, it's probably in the worst neighborhood of Toledo. And secondly, I'd go there for a 10 o'clock train, and I might get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, just to be ready. And I might not see it. It might be so late, you know, it's not worth predicting it. And the other ones are like 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning. And I just don't love trains that much. Heath, that's exactly what happened. In the 1950s, the U.S. built our superhighway system. Now, what most people may not know is our superhighway system was developed for the military. We wanted nice, big, flat, fancy, well-built highways, I-90, I-80, I-70, I-60, so that we could get our tanks and troops from the East Coast to the West Coast quickly. So we developed that. And then once we did that, Americans love our cars. We love our cars. And we decided trains weren't worth the hassles. Now, again, in 1971, a gallon of gas was 39 cents. It was cheap. We didn't even have to make good engines in our cars because, hey, this car gets 8 miles to the gallon, but it has a 25-gallon tank and gas is 39 cents a gallon. Big deal. So that's exactly what happened. We committed to the cars and the highways, and that killed passenger traffic. Well, didn't kill it, but put it on life support. So that's what happened to the U.S. Andy Eggenberger, auf Wiedersehen. Gusti. Bis später. Tschüss. So yeah, we sold our souls, and that was the end of it. And the East Coast still has a lot of passenger tram and train service, but here in Toledo. And two of my kids have ridden Amtrak. My son and a couple of his friends that I had taken to Germany were like, I don't want to drive to Chicago for this concert. Let's just take the Amtrak. We'll rent a hotel. We'll take the Amtrak. They had all ridden trains in Germany. They knew how trains worked. And my daughter, her boyfriend was in Philadelphia, and she went to spend a week to visit him before he moved to Toledo, before they got married. So, so she went to Philadelphia. She also rode Greyhound out to Philadelphia, but I don't think she'd ever do that again. The last time she decided to fly out. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, New York, Washington, and Philadelphia are pretty nicely tied together with the rail system. Traveling in Germany, as you guys have heard, from 2003 to 2019, I was in Germany every year except 2016. I have never rented a car. My wife and I travel by train everywhere in Germany. It's easier. It's less hassle. We buy our tickets early. We reserve our seats. We don't do first class. We always go economy class. Well, I lie. We bought first class once. We were offered a real cheap upgrade to first class, so we bought it last summer. We made a big deal about it, too. We sent a video home to the kids. Look, we're in first class. Woo! Yeah, we travel by train everywhere. We just find it's easier. You don't have to stop for potty breaks. You pack a lunch, you pack entertainment. I usually drive. Like, I have driven all over this country. 2002 alone, I drove from Toledo all the way out to Yellowstone, all the way down to Arizona, and then back across, back home to Toledo. That was just one trip. And my wife will say, oh my gosh, look at that. And I can't look at that. I'm driving. If I look for more than a second or two, I'm not paying attention to the road. So, yeah, we don't. In Germany, we take the trains. It's just much easier. And to be honest, it's cheaper than renting a car and paying gas. The wife made a background appearance and left. All right, well, I'll tell you what, people. It is 12:47. It's been nice seeing everybody here, but I'm going to go ahead and end this stream so I can change my Railjet back to its main line, and Lee can set up his stream, and those of you who are going to go over there can go see Lee, and I'll be in there eventually. I do have to work up something for lunch here. And then my wife and I will eventually go shopping. No, we didn't see him in Yellowstone Park because he's in Jellystone Park, Chris. But we did see Boo Boo. Hey, Boo Boo. Yogi, I don't think the ranger's going to like this, Yogi. Shut up, Boo Boo. All right, everybody, take care. I'm ending the stream now. I'll leave you with that twisted thought.